Good evening, my name is Eva Woods, W-O-O-D-S, and I live in Pascoag, less than a mile from the proposed site. I'm opposed to the licensing of this proposed power plant because it is not needed and because it will cause harm unacceptable to the environment of the state and the town of Burrillville, as shown by testimony and advisory opinions that have already been filed with the board. In the Ocean State Power decision of the EFSB dated October 25, 1988, this board stated an environmental impact statement is essential to the board's deliberations. While the board does not have jurisdiction over major environmental permits, state policy requires that major energy facility produce the fewest possible adverse effects on the quality of the state's environment, and the board must implement that policy in its final decision. Thus, we conclude that the board has both the responsibility and the power to evaluate all individual and cumulative environmental impacts of the proposed facility before arriving at a final decision regarding the OSP application. Preparation of an environmental impact statement is the most efficient way of identifying those impacts for board review. That was back in 1985. An environmental impact statement was prepared in the Ocean State Power case, and it was reviewed by this board. In fact, the review was delayed in order to have the environmental impact statement available for review by the board. In the case of Invenergy, no environmental impact statement has been prepared. We understand that the Army Corps of Engineers is doing an assessment to determine whether they will perform an environmental impact statement. However, we submit that given the adverse environmental impacts which have already been identified, not only by the town's experts, but by Invenergy's own experts, this board should order Invenergy to produce a full environmental impact statement. As this board stated in the Ocean State Power case, the board continues to believe that the best way in which to analyze environmental data is by the preparation of such data by an independent entity, or at a minimum, to a review of such data by an independent entity. In the environmental impact study performed by Ocean State Power, the very same site now being proposed by Crack Facility, then known as the Buck Hill Road property, was eliminated from consideration for the siting of the Ocean State Power Plant. The elimination was based on traffic, cost for the cooling water pipeline, and land use incompatibility. A proper environmental impact statement may again determine that this site is also inappropriate for the Crack facility based on similar unacceptable environmental impacts.
Thank you, Ms. Woods.